A very good evening, everyone. And we are once again here to talk on literature, to talk on poetry, and we have very eminent people with us. This is going to be a dialogue across borders, across nations. At the very onset, I must mention that we are proud and honored to have with us Furat Esbir, who's an exiled Syrian poet currently living in New Zealand. A very warm welcome to Furat Esbir. We have with us Madhu Srivastava, who is the assistant professor of English, is a poet and a translator, and she has many academic credentials to her name. And of course, we have Anindya Banerjee, actor director, who has been the main driving force behind who has conceptualized this entire event of starting a dialogue between India and Syria. Before we move into the discussion of the day, I would request Anindya Banerjee to say a few words about the event that we are going to have. Over to you, Anindya.
Hi. After a wonderful introduction, it's just like me. I want to say a few things which is slightly radical, because why Frankenstein and why freedom and why Syria? So Frankenstein came to me as a man-made thing. Actually, man made the meaning. If we consider meaning is a box or a structure, so now we are succumbed to the meaning. Now we are succumbed to the pressure of meaning. So what is the beyond of meaning? That was the thing. That is kind of a freedom. Basically, we don't have the language to express the unfreedomness. That's why initially I told that freedom is nothing but a illusion. Just we are lacking the substance and the words how to express our unfreedomness. Here I actually I succumbed also. I mean, it's me too. I succumbed to the pressure of meaning. So this is my question, and that's why I talked with Navnita. If you like this, that I said that a Frankenstein would be a correct word. So Frankenstein was also made by a man, and he was trapped by that Frankenstein. Like we know George Bush and the Osama bin Laden, there is a whole lot of Frankenstein human created in history. So that's the other side of human stupidity. So meaning is something like that. What is the beyond of meaning? That's my quest, and that's why we organize this. Thank you, Navnita.
Yes, it was. Thank you for introducing us to the theme. And coincidentally, or you can say planned with, this day coincides with Mary Shelley's birth anniversary, and which is also known as the Frankenstein Day. So, what better way to celebrate, to commemorate Mary Shelley than a dialogue across borders, across cultures, in terms of freedom, in terms of exile, in terms of creativity, because I think that creativity is also a very important aspect that is highlighted in Frankenstein. Now, very briefly about Mary Shelley, we all know, born on 30th August 1797, died 1st February 1851. Now, the name, Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin Shelley. And I think the name itself carries the legacy of so many heavyweights in terms of literature, philosophy, poetry. And the name itself, where is she in all these things? She is lost. We cannot find her. We cannot locate her unless and until we read into her work her own anxieties, her own angst, her own tensions, because her life, in spite of being sort of, surrounded with so many illustrious people, were not a very happy one, because it was a life which she had been, which she had to sort of. She lost her mother at the very beginning, and then there she had a relation with her stepmother, and sorry, the relation with her stepmother was very
Stepsister.
fraught. It was extremely fraught relation, and then there comes several miscarriages when she's writing Frankenstein. There are so many several miscarriages. So the creation of monster in Frankenstein, I think, in a number of ways, looks at her own anxiety as well. Her anxiety as a woman, the concept of this unfreedomness that comes into the reading of this. Now, and of course, the concept of exile, because monster is exiled from human society by his creator. So, getting into this concept of exile, I would like to move on to a very eminent Syrian poet, Furat Esbir, who's also interested in child psychology and has done uh, work in the field of child psychology, and is also having a book shortly to be published. So I would move towards Furat and ask her to say, because she is also one who is living away from her own homeland. So, how this concept of exile and the concept of Frankenstein's monster come across to you, and how do you think literature plays a role in bridging the barriers? Over to you, Farad.
Okay, welcome everyone.
Yeah.
Nice to be with you. Just I'm wondering a big question in my mind. Why after 200 years people are still celebrating with Mary Shelley and celebrating with Frankenstein, the monster creation by a woman? Why women? Always I ask myself, why women written or write about monster man is make me think about a lot think about Mary Shelley, because I think she writes something about her life. Is my opinion. Maybe people disagree with me, but if you think about the monster he made it or he created by character, he's still alive until now. Everywhere in the world you can find a monster like Frankenstein created by a human. First thing I came to my mind is Shelley first wife, she suicide himself, committed suicide. Is a big question. Is Mary Shelley was struggling with his husband? She was, and she also hid something between this relation because she was very young, and also the strange relation between Byron and Lord Byron and Shelley and Mary creative a lot complicated relationship, you know. And also always I'm looking at Mary personality. I find three characters surrounded by her. I see first lady or first woman broken by motherhood. She lost his daughter, and
Right.
also she lost his mother. Lost his mother. You know, a lot thing complicated inside women, especially women writer. You can also, if you anywhere in the world, you can find the freedom to express my ourselves. You know, women especially. If you take me away from Mary Shelley, I remember Sylvia Bass. Sylvia Bass, you know Sylvia Bass.
Yes,
She
Sylvia Plath you're
committed
talking about? Yes.
suicide. Yes,
Right, right.
committed
Yes.
suicide. And also Virginia Woolf committed suicide. Is a big question why women writer or women poet or women creative women in the world always committed suicide. Now I'm asking myself, Mary Shelley, she lived normal life with rich family, with rich husband, but she write a horrible, horrible novel, just she make a human from part body of people and gave him life. You can find now something different between beauty and ugliness. How human be beauty and how human be ugliness. And also something in my mind is very important too, because I know Mary, she's a romantic lady. She write a romance poem. How
Right.
how this women write a poem, poetic poem and romantic poem, and also write a novel like Frankenstein. You know, Frankenstein from Mary Shelley until now still creative. As Iraqi novelist he called Ahmed Saadawi. I don't know if you heard about. He write Frankenstein in Baghdad. Frankenstein in Baghdad. He win a Booker Prize. Booker Prize. He win a Booker Prize. I think 2 years ago. And also he inspired. I think he inspired by Mary Shelley when he added people, and how much confused fighting between Shia and Sunnah in Iraq. You understand me what I'm saying? Shia Sunnah, is
Yes.
surrounded by religion, and every day you can see many hundred cemetery and hundred people losing, missing, and he also win a Booker Prize from Frankenstein in Baghdad. In Baghdad. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah, that was
Okay.
really wonderful,
Okay.
Sarah. And you
I wish I was clear. My
you
accent.
are. No,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
that's not a problem. You
Good.
are perfectly clear, and you have wonderfully brought out the correlations between the women authors. How, like, why? Actually, a question that plagues all of us. Why did Sylvia Plath? Why did Mary? Virginia Woolf have to commit suicide, and the kind of repressions that women
Depression,
have
yeah,
to
of course.
face.
But
And
we have reason to be depression. We have a reason. Have a reason. Life gave me, brush me too much to be. Some women very strong, and also in our women, and now in the nowadays not able to be freedom to express themselves when they writing. Like me, I can't write what I am thinking and deep inside because I'm scared from religion,
right,
from society, from
right,
husband, from family, from everywhere surrounded me. Like I think Indian women like me, Syrian women, all women around the world. I think only women in the world have could freedom is what Simone de Beauvoir. Simone de Beauvoir,
Simone de
Sartre's.
Beauvoir.
Yeah,
Sartre's
yeah.
wife, huh?
I think, yeah. And other women, you can write something behind the character. Just, behind the character, something hidden. I can create the character and give him what I feel. But when readers see, it is not me. It's my character. I made it. But I think all human express, you gave him from inside. Maybe I'm strong to see anything except taboo.
yes,
Tabu.
I can't talk
yeah,
about taboo. It's not allowed. not allowed. I am women not allowed to do that because I'm surrounded by my society, my religion, my yeah. You understand
Yes,
what I'm?
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes. So
And
from
women also can women killed. You know how many women killed by brother, by father, by government. You know, just
right, right,
yeah.
very true. So actually, which is why Mary Shelley, 200 years, and she is still so relevant, as relevant, and that which is why we still read Platt today, we still read Virginia Woolf today, and we still read, and we have Chimamanda Adichie with us, with for people like authors like Chimamanda Adichie with us, who can talk about the kind of repressions and the kind of uh, problems that we are constantly facing. And Furat had also focused on a very important work, Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmad Sadwi, which goes on to win the Booker Prize award. And that's that shows how Frankenstein has become an a very pervasive influence on literature, perhaps much more than Mary Shelley herself thought her to be. But then, Mary Shelley is not just Frankenstein; she is much more, and that is what I think Madhu is going to focus on. Madhu Srivastav has been working on Mary Shelley, and she does have certain important areas to highlight. She is also an excellent poet and translator and assistant professor of English. So over to Madhu now for probably a take a bit different from Frankenstein. Yes, Madhu.
Thank you, Nobonita, for these kind words and introduction. Yeah, I agree with Furat that whatever she said, like about the concerns of Mary Shelley, why she created such a monster, a woman creating a monster which has stayed with us over 200 years. That's a point to ponder about. And that is not her only work. Another work is The Last Man. I want to speak about that also. But before that, we need to know more about her life. Somewhat, Furat has touched upon, and now Bonita has also introduced her. But once again, just to put it together, I would like to say that Mary's very birth itself was different, very extraordinary, because she came to from parents William Godwin and Mary Wollstonecraft, who were both iconoclasts of their time. They were much ahead of their times.
Right.
Wollstonecraft, when she married Godwin, she already had a daughter, Imlay, from another American soldier who never married her. And then William Godwin, knowing all this, he marries her and he made no qualms about it, and it was quite open. But when people came to know about it, then they were somewhat ostracized. And within 11 days of her birth, Mary lost her mother, and she grew up reading her works and creating a kind of pseudo mother through her works, to which she remained attached throughout her lives. And Godwin was also very attached to his daughter, to Mary's earlier daughter outside of wedlock, and who she had brought within the marriage, and Mary Shelley. And then again, after 4 years, when Godwin remarries, just a next door neighbor, this woman, Claire, she brings her two children. But there comes a change in Mary's life because this new stepmother doesn't like the relation between Godwin and Mary Shelley. And she tries to sort of separate them, but this alienates Mary. The sense of loneliness begins to seep within her. She spends hours in the library sitting in her mother's grave. So her relationship with the dead was there right from her own birth. And then later on, they never went to school. She was never sent to school because her stepmother thought it was not required. But she read a lot and she, prepared her mind. And William Godwin had a very generous influence in this regard because all kinds of people, philosophers, preachers, poets, all the intelligentsia of London used to gather at his home, and he made it a point that his children were present when these intellectual debates or discussions were going on. So Mary learned a lot from there, and those influences, we find a reflection of that in Frankenstein, because people, scientists like Humphrey Davis and William Nicholson, they were over there, and we. I would like to say that in this book, Frankenstein, it speaks of the age at a time when England was drifting away from agrarian society towards industrialization, and then people were experimenting in science. Galvanism was a thing which was quite discussed. Louis Galvin, he was making, by accident, he found out the effect of electricity on the muscles of animals. It was called animal electricity. He was making an experiment, and a frog was there, and the way the limbs of the frog twitched when it got an electric shock, was what made him think. And these things were discussed in front of Mary. So she used these ideas when she wrote Frankenstein, stitching up the parts of the human corpse and then passing electricity through it. Another thing I would like to say is that one mistake, or rather, it is the way it has stayed, is that, like Onindola said in the beginning, that the creator himself, becomes caught up in his creation. Victor Frankenstein was the creator of the monster. He was not himself the monster. But today, Frankenstein becomes synonymous with the name of the monster itself, but he was actually the creator. But
Yes.
that's the thing. Another angle I would like to add, I think I should say that my son brought this to my mind. He said that uh, Victor Frankenstein, he created a monster. So he was actually like a parent to the child, but he never expressed any kind of love towards the creature he created. I think we can also equate this with the governments and the states. If the citizens are not looked after by the state, not taken care of by the state, like in the case of Furat or many others, they have to exile from their countries. So that is, I think, another way in which Frankenstein relates to our lives still today, especially to the lives of exile. Mary herself was in a state of exile, you can say, because she was married to P.B. Shelley. P.B. Shelley had to be exterminated from Oxford because he wrote the essay on atheism. And way back in the 19th century, to be an atheist, to be an heretic, was completely unthought of. But both William Godwin was also that kind of a person. He did not believe in religion. He was an anarchist. He believed that all the institutions, the government itself is not required. Why should a government or a body rule human beings? They are good enough to rule themselves. So these reformist, totally rebellious ideas were at home for Mary Shelley. And so what she created can also be only be located in her very roots. Now, when she gets in touch with P.B. Shelley, who is himself an exile because his father disowns him after Oxford expels him. He is from an aristocratic family, but after his father disowns him, he has nowhere to go. He's from door to post he's going, and somehow he comes to William Godwin. And William Godwin is always for new ideas, new minds. But P.B. Shelley never hid his marriage from Mary Shelley. But Mary was, she was too so young, only 16. She needed this outlet, and it was a marriage of true minds, you can say, because she was fed on her ideas of a mother. Where marriage means marriage of true minds. It had nothing to do with rituals and religion. So she had no qualms in running away with P.B. Shelley, because that was all the way they could do, because he was already a married man and she knew it. But still he goes, and Mary Shelley and P.B. Shelley, they used to go out for intellectual walks, having that's what William Godwin thought, that they are going out to have discussions. But like, we are all human beings with always with emotions. We can never put something into boxes, that intellectual discussions means there will be no emotions over there. This is a problem, I think, throughout the ages. People think, like you said, with women, they are being sent somewhere, but with so many taboos, so many boxes around them, that they are expected to behave and be in a certain manner, but not beyond that. But
Right,
that's not
Madhu.
how life
Actually,
is.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, you are focusing on two very important concepts as women living in boxes, and also the concept of state acting as the parent
yeah,
to the citizen and fulfilling its responsibility, which is of course an idea, because the idea of parenting in Frankenstein is very important. And on that note, I would like to go to Aninga Banerjee and ask. And listen to his views on what you think of the role of the state as a parent, and how this entire idea of parenting is evolving, because Victor Frankenstein is just leaving the monster, forcing him into an exile immediately after he is created in that way. So over to you.
Just one thing came to my mind after having this discussion. That is basically a question. Is it required? Economics and politics. Economics and politics. I found that this is not required because this is not supplied the actual answer for the modern society. The modern society needs kind of an answer which cannot supply this kind of system which came from the politics and which came from the economics or economical design, how they design the economy. So, but it sounds a little anarchist. I don't know. I'm really. I should not say like that. But this is my question, a big question: is it required? Politics and economics, the way we deal the politics, and especially in this post-ideological era, everyday ideology. So, which is absolutely missing from the every genre of politics throughout the world. It's not like the global capitalism. Basically, global capitalism today becomes a new religion. It's like a living element. Global capitalism, a new religion. What I actually think, because the other religions are not really able or capable to supply the required answer which humanity needs right now, or society needs right now. So it sounds a bit anarchist, but it's not anarchism. I know there is a whole lot of difference between the anarchism and and the rest of the things. So this is the thing actually I want to convey.
Yes, so like you are not basically agreeing with the idea of the role
No,
of
I
the
didn't want
state
to
as
go
parent.
big detail.
Yeah.
No, I should not
No,
go
of course.
detail with this area because
Right,
it will
right,
be
right.
a little
No, no,
little
no. What
more
I'm
political.
saying, of course, it's not possible for a state to go into the role of a parent in the way it used to be when it was kingdoms. So there is, of course, a huge lot of difference, a time lapse that we have come into. But then, of course, these are all ideas which we do get when we are reading Shelley and Mary
Actually,
Shelley
one
and
more thing I want to convey. I just have one more thing. Basically, state should not. There is a two kind of apparatus: a repressive state apparatus and the ideological state apparatus. So,
right.
state should not involve directly within this apparatus. State can handle the law. State can handle the military. But if state uses the education, they penetrate their values through the education. They penetrate their value through the media. This is not right.
Right.
yeah. I
So
agree with
to
Onindo
another
that.
very
Yeah,
contemporary problems that probably we are facing almost everywhere. But steering back our discussion to Mary Shelley and literature, poetry, and exile, Furab, as an exiled poet, what do you think is so important like we see the monster was exiled from human society, and we know that in Syria, exile remains one of the dominant problems, because due to various issues, social, political, economical, people are moving away from the land. So, moving a bit away from Shelley, would you like to focus on how this entire concept of exile comes across to you?
Okay, just first off thing I want to tell Aninadi one thing about what he talking for capitalism, and and yeah, just one thing I tell you. And Shelley, husband of Mary, he write a small book. The title is Necessity of Atheism. Atheism.
Actually,
Necessity
yes.
of Atheism. Karl Marx, Karl Marx, you know what?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. He likes the book. and he encouraged people to read that book. But the question for Mary, she was a rich lady and rich society all life traveling around the world. But she writes the monster, monster book and create monster human. Yeah, just one thing for Anandi, and another thing for my experience with my exile. To be honest, I'm not. I will tell the truth about Syria. Syria is very democratic country. Women since before I born was have prime minister. He had a government. He a doctor. He a writer. He no covering. No hijab. You know hijab? No hijab.
Yes,
No hijab.
yeah, that's
Women
wonderful.
is a very modern life. Modern. You can walk. I am woman. I can walk on the street about midnight. I'm not scared. Free education in Syria. Free education after war. 11 years war. I'm so far now from my home, but you have to tell the truth. You have to be honest with myself, with my country, with all people around the world. Until now, education free, health system free. You know that? All things belong, free. But when the war came and Daesh came to Syria, what he did? He destroyed all heritage we have since thousand years. Jesus Christ passed from Damascus. Is that mean big thing for for our home? If you Jesus Christ is passed from Syria to Urshalim, Prophet Muhammad, he passed from we have a lot heritage. Palmyra, you know Palmyra? You heard about Palmyra in Syria? I
No.
don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
is you're from Zenobia. Maybe pronounce the word Zenobia. Zenobia. She king of Syria, was king of Syria. The first lady was a king, lady. Lady? Was king of Syria, whole Syria. But and also Syria was united between Lebanon and Palestine and Jordan. But after Sykes-Picot, always all people know Sykes-Picot
Sorry.
is Sykes-Picot.
Correct.
Sykes-Picot is
Right.
yeah. Sykes-Picot is a famous agreement between British and British to divide this area. You know that, and also if you look back after 11 years war, what happened in Syria? What happened? Million refugee. No, no. You know what they do? They occupy all schools. No schools. They destroy school. I used to working before I came here. I was working in a big industry for medication, import and export. They stolen all medication we have because it's a big industry in Syria. Syria was export and brought to everywhere in around the world. I used to working with section contract. I used to contract with Switzerland, with UK, all Arab world also. But now nothing, But Syria still until now she pay wages for all sector education, sector health, sector everywhere, non-stop. But I don't know. I think it's a project to divide this Middle East, to divide, we not divide Middle East. For my exile, sometimes I feel not I'm exile. I feel between two countries. My heart and brain, my brain and my heart. I'm live in New Zealand, but my brain in Syria. Sometimes I walk in the street, I say, oh my God, he is similar to my street in Syria. the people familiar to me, I say, oh, I think the face he look like what I have my friend. I have between flag, between two language, between two flag, between two feeling. I love New Zealand. I love New Zealand. She gave me everything. I'm not exile for anything from my home, no. But my exile was a big reason for my kids because I get married to Iraqi man. My husband, you meet him one day, he Iraqi, not from my nationality. But when women by role is a law. I don't know if you India or anywhere can wife give husband nationality. I don't know. Okay, this I have two kids now. My daughter pharmacist and my son engineer, and he a big manager in big company here now. But what happened when I live in Syria? We all miss Syria, but no passport for my kids because no nationality. My husband Iraqi, he fly from Saddam Hussein, you
Right.
know, and me, a woman in Arab world, not able to give nationality to her kids. Why I'm here? Because I'm here. All my family, I have a beautiful family, a beautiful father, mother, brother, sister, all stay in Syria. Nobody, 11 years war, nobody flying. All him. I visit him 3 times through war. I visit him. Is everything okay? Border open. I can go everywhere you know but sometimes also media misinformation. Sometimes when I heard Al Jazeera, Jazeera and
Yes.
Arabia, Al Hadas, Jazeera, Jazeera everywhere. Yeah,
Yes.
I say, oh my gosh, my country, my home, my town is destroyed. I pick up my phone. I say, hello, sister. Hello, father. Hello, brother. Oh, nothing. Why you worried? Nothing. Oh, he told me, don't listen to that. Don't listen to Jazeera. Don't listen to Arabic because media make everything. Media make war. Media make wars. Media
You
can
are.
buy computer. When I'm sitting here, I can make war. I can make everything. But when I talk to people, oh, nothing. Just because if you're watching carefully what happened with Syria in Syria, you can see two sides when Daesh comes through from Jordan and from Turkey. Turkey make a trouble for Syria. She opened all border for all Daesh from ISIS from around the world. You know,
Right.
Turkey, yes, Turkey, and he
Yes.
destroy every industry we have. He take everything. Just until now, still a problem. But I wish one day Syria will back and stand again. I wish. I
Yes.
wish.
We
All
also
for all
wish with you.
country.
We
Yeah.
also wish with you,
Yeah.
Mrittika.
Yeah.
And you have so beautifully drawn the picture of Syria. That is so beautiful. And women are free, and that
To
is
be,
something very
and
important.
to be honest, I writing many topic about Syria, about culture, about war,
Right.
about what I see in my eyes, what I live. I used to when last visit, I saw always I saw rocket.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I heard bombing. I said I'm getting scared. My mom said, my brother said, oh, don't worry, it's nothing. Don't worry, it's nothing, because
You
they
get
used to,
used to, yes, you
they
get
used to, yeah.
and that is such a sad thing to be. And war has never been a solution to anything.
Okay,
And
I when revolution start, everybody like to change. When I look in New Zealand, I see a very beautiful country. I wish my country like that. I wish we get citizenship for me, for my kids, because 22 countries, Arab country, never give passport to any other. only Europe or United States, or why a 22 Arab country didn't give us? I'm not able to go to Lebanon. I'm not able to UN, Dubai, Emirat, Jordan. Why? I am Arab people like them, but not give me any right to live.
Yes, and Furat, you are actually raising very important questions which are extremely, extremely relevant. And I very much like the fact, the way you said that you do not feel exiled, but you live between the two countries. Yes, of course, a
Yes,
country
yes.
where you are born can never, that can never be taken away from you, and the country where you live in is actually also the country which is giving you, making you what you are. Actually, both the countries come together to make you what you are, and that's a very beautiful concept for us. And probably that is where, where the beauty of this cultural exchanges lie, the beauty of connectivity between cultures lie. And we'll want to listen to more of your experiences, but before that, once again steering a bit towards Mary Shelley, and also the fact that The Last Man, the novel of Mary Shelley, was also on the theme of isolation. Would like to go to Madhu, and she would speak to us on isolation and exile in a land where she's living. Madhu.
I want to add
Yes, Sarah.
one thing. The exile, I believe, my idea, the exile, not country, exile inside the human, inside.
Very true. A very
Yes,
wonderful essay.
when I
Wonderful
feel
essay.
exile from myself, from my family, from anything surrounded by me. That exile, when I live in strange life, strange feeling. But if when you go any places, you can creative thing. I came in New Zealand. I have non-English. I used to study French. Yeah,
Yes.
non-English, non-English. I published 5 books in New Zealand. 5 books I published in New Zealand. Just I inspired by New Zealand. He gave me strength to be alive. She gave me
Murat,
everything.
on this note, I would just like to tell you that our viewers in from Facebook are actually very much enjoying your comment, and they would like to know a lot more about your experiences. And also, they are they are happy, and there are people who are commenting constantly on your conversation, which of course you can get to see when you go to the Facebook. And we will of course also come back to your poems. We'll have to listen to your poems towards the end of the session. So it's a request to the every viewers, also Facebook viewers, to stay tuned in, because for others we would be reading her poems as well. Now going to Madhu for a while to talk about the concept of isolation and exile. Madhu.
Yeah, thank you, Nabonita. We all know about the monster Mary created in the name of Frankenstein after the creator. But I think few of us know about The Last Man. The Last Man was the first dystopic novel written by an English person and, of course, an English lady. Like Frankenstein, is also the first science fiction. It is said that the origin or the birth of science fiction was from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. In the similar way, The Last Man is also the first dystopic novel ever written in English. Of course, it was inspired by a French novel which was first written in the form of a poem by Lord Byron. The name of the poem was Darkness. We all talked about this association between Mary Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley, Lord Byron, Keats. It was these friendships, these discussions, which generated a lot of works. The Last Man is also such a work which was in a way originated by Byron, like Frankenstein, because we all know that it was Byron who gave the idea when they were in this place near Lake Geneva, that let us all write a ghost story. and they all started writing ghost stories. And then Mary did not was sad because she was not getting any idea. And then like we see in films now, in the flash of a moment, it was like a vision for her. There was thunder and lightning, and she was sitting in front of the lake inside her room, and the moon was coming in from the window, filtered. And then she got this vision, she says, of the story, the whole story unfolded in front of her. And then she wrote this novel, Frankenstein, which was very intense. It was written in a kind of hyper state. But Last Man is not that kind of a novel. Last Man was written after Percy Bysshe Shelley has died. And Mary Shelley wanted to commemorate his memories and write a kind of, biography, but she was forbidden by Percy Bysshe Shelley's father that you will not do such kind of a thing. So what did she do? She fictionalizes the whole thing. Like Furat was saying, what I want to say, I put it in the form of a character because I cannot say it directly. So she puts her whole feelings, her whole memories about Shelley into this novel, The Last Man, where the last man, again, it's quite pertinent that in this last man, there is a disease. Now we are going through this pandemic COVID-19 situation, and nobody actually understands the disease. It's something invisible. In The Last Man, also, the disease which kills everybody is something which nobody understands. It is also airborne. Another interesting thing is that this novel is situated in a time which is very close to our own times. A few years back, and The Last Man will happen. And so it's something like that. And it has got to do a lot with Mary's own life. She wrote this novel to survive. So it was a novel written with a promise of survival because Mary had economical problems. She needed to write a novel which would sell so that she could earn money. Now we know that Frankenstein was originally published anonymously, like Nobunita told us. The second time when it was published in 1831, then it had her name. But then Mary was quite a mature lady, and she writes that I had written this when, I was only 18. And there's a preface to it. And The Last Man, this also, I'm very, as a woman, I feel very
Madhu, it
sad.
would be great. It would be great if you focus on the theme of isolation and, like, instead of going into the textual background,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
I will
if you
just
could relate
come to
it
that.
to the discussion now.
Yeah, in The Last Man, she says she compared her situation. She has lost so many of her close, dear and near ones. She has lost her children, she has lost her mother, she has lost her siblings. P.B. Shelley's wife has died. And so she feels that she herself is the last man. I will just quote. She says, "The last man, yes, I may well describe that solitary being's feelings. I feel myself as the last relic of a beloved race, my companions extinct before me. Like her narrator Lionel, Shelley writes, I feel my powers again, and this is of happiness. The eclipse of winter passing my mind. I shall again feel the enthusiastic glow of compassion again as I pour forth my soul upon paper, feel the winged ideas rise, and enjoy the delight of expressing them. So it was from this feeling of, alienation, total isolation that she wrote this novel, where everybody dies from a strange disease which no one knows.
Yeah,
Over to
actually,
you.
this concept of isolation, loss,
Yeah,
loss of loved ones, and all these are so relevant in every age and every context. And Mary Shelley becomes so relevant today that it helps us to connect with a poet who's there in New Zealand, who belongs to Syria, to a poet here in India, to an actor, director who is into movies. So I think it is a hallmark of any great literature that helps us to make the connections. And loss, death, exile, these have all been issues which have plagued the human race throughout the as long as probably human race has existed. But still, we live in the hope. We live in the hope that we will overcome. And probably the mantra today for everyone is this too shall pass. So, on that note, let us move a bit towards poetry reading and let us start with Furat. Furat, it would be excellent if you could read some poems for us. Over to you, Furat.
Okay, I will read some lines from Mary Shelley, what she write to her husband. She write a beautiful romantic to her husband. The poem make me confused how much the beautiful and romance poem and how other side Frankenstein was monster, you know? Just when you compare between two character, Mary in when she write poem and Mary when she write novel. Yeah.
Yeah, height of paradox.
Right.
Okay. Just
Yes.
I don't know how you can open in from my computer to see. Maybe I will
You just
lose you.
open, no, you just open the page on your computer. It will not
Yeah, I
affect
see
your
my
screen.
page front me, but you can. I don't know how you can collect between page and you. I'm not sure.
No, you read out. We are seeing you. You are visible to us. That is it.
You see me now? You see me?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I will read it now. Okay, it's a poem by Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley. Write to her husband Shelley. Oh, oh, come to me in dreams, my love. I will not ask a dear bliss. Come with the starry beam, my love, and press mine eyelid with your kiss. Love, visit a creation maid, and walk to find her hopes betrayed. But gentle sleep shall veil my sight when in the vision of the night. Then come to me in a dream, my love. I will not ask a dearer bliss. Come with the starry dream, my love, and press mine eyelid with your kiss. The right. Yeah. You know how much she
English
romantic
poetry
to her
becomes the Arabic
husband?
poetry.
That was an
Yeah.
excellent
English
reading.
poetry becomes the Arabic poetry actually. The tonal quality and the way she expresses her. It's
I
completely
really, I
Arabic.
don't
True,
because
Arabic.
to
true,
be honest,
true.
the poem make me confused, make me confused. Just make me thinking how this lady writes this beautiful poem. She writes this novel, what complicated personality inside
Yes,
because we doesn't know what she's thinking in spirit, how much she's struggling with her husband, was struggling with herself. I respect Maya Angelou, Maya Angelou, American African, yeah,
Maya Angelou. Yes,
Maya
one of
Angelou.
our very favorite
Yeah,
poets.
she was. I respect Maya Angelou because she was very clarified about biography. You know, nobody can be a horror to describe life what she did. She talked about rapists, what people do. She was. I think she was hero. You know, because other women not able to do that like Maya Angelou or some.
Yes, yes. She is,
No,
in fact, I think, till date, one of the very important voices of like contemporary women.
yeah.
Maya Angelou remains
Also, you have
very.
to look because you have to look inside Mary Shelley because I think spelled the spirit is spirit. Spirit. She have two, one side, other side. When she write poem different, when write novel different. How much complicated
Yes.
how inside
Like,
complicated
we have
inside
many
to
personalities with
describe
us.
this personality, to give him life. Some people say is Frankenstein is about human being since Adam and his sons Cain and Habil. Cain, Cain. You understand me what I'm saying? Cain and Habil.
Yes.
Adam's sons.
Cain and Abel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Adam's
by
son, Cain and
taking
Abel. I do
each other.
understand.
Yeah, yeah. Some people see that same
Yeah.
idea taken from human being.
Yes, true,
Yeah.
very true, Furat. But we also want to listen to some of your poems, and there is a popular demand also on the chat that we want to hear you. So please, you find your poems and keep them ready. Till then, let us hear Madhu
Yeah,
reading
yeah.
some
I
of
think
your poems.
before I or Furat reads, I would ask our host today, Nobunita,
No,
please, if you could
I'll
read.
read. I'll read a bit later.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Madhu,
yes.
Normally the must do.
No, Nobunita, first you read.
okay, fine.
To keep the
I'll read a poem which I have written on Frankenstein, and today is the second time that I'm going to read this poem because I've just read it in one of the poetry meets that we have at Intercultural Poetry and Performance Libraries. We keep on having these meets, online meets once a month. So people who are watching me again on Facebook might even get angry for being so repetitive. But this is something I think which I have to read in this forum as well. So, excusing myself for being repetitive, I'm just reading it. And thank you, Madhu, for that invitation. Okay. So, this is the monster talking to Frankenstein. And somewhere, probably within the course of the poem, Monster, Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, everybody comes together. But I'm not going to explain, I'm just going to read the poem and leave it to the listeners. Yeah. So, to Frankenstein, your silence to my first pleadings, and those ears which heeded not to my newborn angst, painted my innocence in colors, cunning and harsh. In the stillness of jungles and moors, where lonely I stood, howling terrifying agonies on a skewer of loneliness, I became the monster I never desired to be. Yet, once in my lifetime in a distant cottage, through a blind man's old years, my dumb world had found words, and the monster in becoming had hibernated for a short while. So short-lived that respite was to be, ill-fated that I had been, to be the monster, cursed by Creator, abandoned, right on earth, love and company silenced by diseased hate and fear. But now, Frankenstein, let's keep company in this deathly quietness that binds us from all sides. Just you and I, and a battle line that generations will stretch till eternity. Thank you. That was my
Wow.
take on the monster
Good.
and the
Yeah, very
Frankenstein.
nice.
Just I wanna ask you question, Binta.
Sure.
The character of Frankenstein always he said, "I am a lonely, I am a lonely man. I need a female.
And that
I
is the
need a
monster,
female.
he said.
Yeah,
Yes.
I need a female to live with me.
Yes.
Why not reflections? The conversation. Maybe women said, she said, I am lonely. I read a man, you know?
Yes, yes, but think
Yeah,
of the times when Mary
yeah,
was right. He was looking
always
for a
he a
woman.
monster, but he feel lonely. He need life, you know? He
True.
have feeling. When monster have feeling is, I don't know how
He's
can
no more a
describe.
monster. He's
Yeah,
a monster. Actually, he's not a
yeah,
monster.
the feel monster have feeling. He feel he alone. He need a human being around him. He need a woman next to him.
True, true,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very true.
Just
Very, very,
a
very
little
pertinent
note.
question, and we do need to think about it. Thank you for raising this for us. And you now please search for your poems, which you're going to read immediately
Okay.
after Madhu reads. So over
All
to
right.
Madhu
I look.
now. Yeah,
Okay.
you do look for your poems that you're going to read now. Yes,
Okay.
Madhu.
Okay.
Yeah, now
I.
Bonita, I think I should read because she couldn't come here. Amine Abo, do I read her poem, Lament for
Yes,
Syria?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
Amine Abu Karej was supposed to join us, but unfortunately, for some reason, she could not connect with us to the StreamYard. Madhu, it would be excellent if you read her.
Yeah. Mene Abu Karesh needs no introduction, but still, just a line for her. She's only 15 now, but at the age of 13 only, after learning English for only a year, she wrote this poem and she was awarded with a prize. And let us hear this poem to know why it is worth reading and, being awarded. Lament for Syria by Amini Abu Kerich. Syria doves croon above my head, their call cries in my eyes. I'm trying to design a country that will go with my poetry and not get in the way when I'm thinking, where soldiers don't walk over my face. I'm trying to design a country which will be worthy of me if I'm ever a poet and make allowances if I burst into tears. I'm trying to design a city of love, peace, concord, and virtue, free of mess, war, wreckage, and misery. Of Syria, my love, I hear your moaning in the cries of the doves. I hear your screaming cry. I left your land and merciful soil, and your fragrance of jasmine. My wing is broken like your wing. I am from Syria, from a land where people pick up a discarded piece of bread so that it does not get trampled on. From a place where a mother teaches her son not to step on an ant at the end of the day. From a place where a teenager hides his cigarette from his old brother out of respect. From a place where old ladies would water jasmine trees at dawn, from the neighbor's coffee in the morning, from after you aunt, as you wish uncle, with pleasure sister, from a place which endured, which waited, which is still waiting for relief. Syria, I will not write poetry for anyone else. Can anyone teach me how to make a homeland? Heartfelt thanks if you can. Heartiest thanks from the house sparrows, the apple trees of Syria, and yours very sincerely. That's it.
Nice. Yeah, Amina, very intelligent girl. She's young, 15 years old.
Yeah, he's now 15.
I, yeah, I know about him in Telegraph. A big, yeah. She won a prize, I think, in UK. I'm not sure what's the prize. Yeah,
Yes.
but yeah, I read article about her in Telegraph. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm proud of her too. I love Amina. I love her poet. It's very nice. Yeah.
Yes, now read, we would request Furat to read her poem and then we again go back to Madhu and listen to her own composition.
Okay.
Furat, please.
I will look for okay, my new collection.
Wow.
Just give me 1 minute to look.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
sure, Furat. Yes, we are all
Okay,
waiting.
I find. All right. You
So what
you see
about
me?
you?
You see me and hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can. Sure.
What
Okay.
about what about your under the tree of Buddha?
Buddha. I love Buddha. I love Buddha. No, it's different now from different book. A walk.
Okay.
My book. A walk between sky and earth. A walk between sky and earth. Yeah. A ripe fruit. A ripe fruit. A woman with an open heart and wide eyes, shaking the tree of soul. A woman with open heart and wide eyes, shaking the tree of soul. Everything fall front of her. The life, the eye, the soul, with a long cloaking and deep smiling, she say goodbye to life. She said goodbye to life. She said goodbye to what she saw and to what will say. She not deficient. She was bunch that shine. She understood everything before the fall, powerless to be or not to be, the bird and ability to fly or not to fly. Oh, life, oh, life. Oh, tiredness that the picture translated a woman with an open heart and a wide eyes. She saw a picture of life drawing on her face. Thanks. Finish.
That is such a
Finish.
beautiful and moving
I
poem.
wish makes sense to you, my reading.
Of course, it's clear. And you know what? Your accent adds to the musicality of the poem. The way you drag it and say, she
And
was
it sounds
glad
a
to
bit
Right.
ancient, no?
back.
Isn't it?
It is
It sounds a
beautiful.
bit ancient. Like, I don't know, the
Yes, it's
quality,
like
Oh,
chanting.
total quality.
really? Oh, cool. You encourage me. Encourage me. Good. Thank you.
And the
Yeah, you're
poem
very much
itself
muted actually.
has the poem itself has such a beautiful melancholy to it, and the way you brought out the
Okay.
truths of life,
Thank
it's
you.
beautiful for that. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I love
Yes.
Tagore. I love Tagore.
And I
Ah,
will adopt
yes.
you.
I
I
love
Oh,
will
my
adopt your total
favorite.
quality. I will
I love
increase
Tagore.
the way
Yeah.
you express.
I think I look just one
Rather, I
minute.
will
I
copy
tell you.
you.
Yeah, I will see what I write for. I don't know if you're available here in other computer. Just I wanna look one thing. Just
okay.
no, I don't know where is it.
Maybe you look for the poem till, and by the time we hear Madhu read one of her own
No,
poems.
I didn't find. Yeah, maybe next time.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
maybe.
okay, okay. Then we can.
Okay. Nobonita,
Yes.
you want me to read my poem or do I read
Yeah,
Mahmoud
it's your
Darwish?
point. Your
Whatever
point.
you
My
want,
poem.
whichever way.
Okay.
Yes,
When
of course. Your
you know
poem.
yours, you
Poem
let
Nadu, Madu,
hear you.
Madu,
It's a very
Madu.
short poem which I wrote just today. Homecoming. It has a bit of Bangla Furat. I'll explain it to you. It's
Thank you.
about, we know Taslima Nasreen has been in exile for 26 years now. She's herself a very good poet. I'm not going to read her poem, but I tried to place myself in her place. I don't know if I'm able to emote her feelings, but I just tried. Homecoming. As the crimson sun goes down, golden gray clouds mourn the death of a day. Feathered friends fly home, home to where it might be, a twiggy nest or corner, a place to rest the heart. Alas, it is not to be. Plush hotel guest rooms I live in keep me alive in parts. I crave for my homeland, the bhade cha, the gorum bhat, podda relish and shutki to relish. I close my eyes to feel the wind of the sea in my cloistered shut room, to sleep on the shobuj ghash, to run about the gorir mat that I carry in my heart. Like Furat said, that you live between two countries. You're not uh, out.
Yes.
You carry your own country, your homeland in your heart, right? Wherever
Yeah.
you might be.
We
So
And like,
divide.
beautiful.
you are not alone.
And you
You are
have
not
brought that
alone.
out so beautifully.
I'm not
Yeah.
alone.
Not alone, of course. And
Another poem is
yes,
just called Freedom. The very concept of freedom, which I think none of us are free. None of us are actually free. We are born free but live in chains throughout our lives. So it's my take on freedom, a small poem. Freedom. Desire for freedom, embosomed slavery. Sky bird perches down, night breaks, releases day, engulfs dusk. 9 months nurturing liberates child to enter the layered prisons of the world. Every day a strive to feed, walk, and talk. Growing up a trial, learning to live well, fitting into different molds, being chinked, raised, torn, gasps of breath, keeps on the grind, glimpses of stars, rainbow and flowers till a shadow is cast.
Nice.
Yes. Rainbow of
Thank you. Very
flowers.
nice. Cool. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
So with that, we do come to an end of a fairly long session. We've been live for past 1 hour and 10 minutes, and it's been an excellent session where we talked of exile, where we talked of freedom, where we talk of Mary Shelley and her relevance in our world. And it was excellent for us listening to your comments, listening to your experience, and you have a number of feedbacks, number of comments, appreciating your take, the way you have presented Syria to us, and the way war demonizes everything, and you will find all of them there on Facebook for you to read. And we look forward, of course, to more such interactions, because it's very important, standing in today's situation, that we know each other, that we interact with each other, that we exchange, and that is the only way in which we can, breaking boundaries is the only way in which humanity can survive. And humanity does believe in connecting, which has been proved in the times of pandemic, because we do keep finding newer ways of connecting, not just locally but even globally. So I would like to ask Anindada to add a few closing words, and with that we
No,
come
no,
to
no.
the end
It's
of
already.
the.
Now it's already, my head is full, so I can't say anything more else. It's,
Your experience every day.
just wrap it up.
Fine. So then,
Emotionally, it
our
was full.
conversation. Thank you so much, Furad, for being with us. Thanks a lot,
Madhu,
Madhu. It's
thanks.
been excellent.
Thank you.
Because we have
Thank you.
informed
Nice to meet you,
soulmates
Madhu.
supporting.
Yeah, so nice to meet you, Furad.
So much. Thank you, Anindada, for the platform. And we are going to be back again with more of poetry, with more of discussion. Till then, bye.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.